Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'll be going over fractions at GCSE, and let's just get started. The first thing I want to quickly go over is dealing with mixed numbers. Now when working with mixed numbers, you can either be asked to turn a mixed number into an improper fraction or turn an improper fraction into a mixed number. So in this example we're turning a mixed number into an improper fraction. So when doing this, you have to multiply the denominator by the big number at the front and then add that to the 8. So what that actually looks like is 9 times 1 plus 8 all divided by 9, which would be 9 plus 8 over 9, which is 17 over 9. If you have an improper fraction and you have to turn that into a mixed number, you have to think about how many times the denominator goes into the numerator. So in this case, the highest multiple that 16 multiplies to, that is under 49, is 48, and that is 3 times 16. So it'll be 3, and then 49 minus 48 is 1, so it'll be 3 and 1 over 16. And that would be your final answer. Alright, let's actually get started with some operations then. So the first thing we'll look at is adding fractions. When adding two fractions, you have to try and get their denominators to be the same. And you can do this by looking at the lowest common multiple between the two numbers, or you can do this by just multiplying the two numbers, which can be easier and less time consuming. So in this case 3 times 5 would be 15 and 15. But then you'd have to multiply the top number, the numerator, by the same number that you multiplied the denominator with. So in this case, to get from 3 to 15 we multiplied by 5, so 2 times 5 would be 10. And then to get from 5 to 15 we multiplied by 3, so we'd multiply 4 by 3, so it'd be 12, and so we'd end up with 22 over 15. And if you wanted to turn that into a mixed number, that would be 1 and 7 over 15. Pause the video and have a go at the example at the bottom. Alright, let's take a look then. So we've got 6 and 10. We could multiply 6 and 10, but we could also look at the lowest common multiple between 6 and 10, which is 30. Right? So to get from 6 to 30, we've multiplied by 5, so we've gone multiply 5 by 5, we get 25 at the top. And to get from 10 to 30, we multiplied by 3, so we have to multiply the 7 by 3 to get 21. And so we get 46 over 30, which should give us 16 over 30. We could simplify that even further to get 1 and 8 over 15. And that is our final answer. Alright, let's take a look at subtracting them. So subtracting fractions is quite similar to adding them, in the sense that we have to get the denominators to be the same number again. So let's take a look at this example. We'd have to get the denominator to be the same on both sides. So in this case we multiply 7 by 4 and we get 28 here. To get from 7 to 28 we've multiplied by 4, so 6 times 4 is 24. And to get from 4 to 28 we've multiplied by 7, so 3 times 7 is 21. This is not supposed to be a plus sign, it's supposed to be a minus sign. So then we're left with 3 over 28. Alright, have a go at the bottom question. and take a look back at mixed numbers in the beginning of the video if you're struggling with that. Alright, let's start by converting the mixed numbers into improper fractions first. So 5 times 1 plus 4 would be 9 over 5, and then minus 2.5, so 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so minus 5 over 2. And then we'd get the denominators both to be 10, so here 10 and 10, and then multiplied the first fraction by 2, so this would be 18, and we've multiplied the second one by 5, so that would be 25, and so we're left with minus 7 over 10, and that is our final answer. Alright, let's take a look at multiplying fractions. So multiplying fractions is arguably easier than subtracting and adding fractions, because you don't have to make the denominators the same. You could just get on with it. So you just multiply the two numerators together and the two denominators together. So 7 times 4 is 28, and 8 times 3 which is 24, and so you just get 1 4 over 24, or 1 1/6. Have a go at the second example, and again take a look at mixed numbers if you're struggling with that. Okay, so convert the first mixed number into an improper fraction. So 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1, 25 over 8. Multiply that by 16 over 17. Now, when you're multiplying fractions, you can cancel out some denominators and numerators if they are multiples of each other. So in this case, we can cancel out the 8, because 8 goes into 16, and we can turn the 16 into 2. And instead of the 8, we'd have a 1 here. This is because if we were to actually do this, like 25 times 16 over 17 times 8, this would be the same as 25 over 17 times by 16 over 8, which is just 25 over 17 times by 2 over 1, which is what we're doing here, basically. So just drop all of this out, and so here we'd get 25 times 2, so 50, over 1 times 17, which is just 17. We could leave our answer like this, or we could give it as a mixed number. So that would be 3 times 17, so 3 times 10 plus 7 is 30, plus 21 is 51. So that cannot go into here, because 51 is greater than 50. Instead, we'd use 34, so it would be 2, and 50 minus 34 is 16, so 16 over 17. Alright, let's move on to dividing fractions. So when dividing fractions, there is this acronym that I like to use, which is KFC. Yeah, like the fried chicken brand, but instead of fried chicken, it is keep, flip, and change. You keep the original fraction, you flip the second fraction, and you change the sign from a division to a multiplication. So in this example, this would look like this. So you'd keep 4 over 25, you'd flip 3 over 5 into 5 over 3, and then you change the sign from a division to a multiplication, so it would look like this. And then we can do what we did earlier. This turns into a 1, and this turns into a 5, and so we're left with 4 over 15. Have a go at the second question, and again, do take a look at any parts that you struggle with in the earlier bits of the video. Okay, so start by converting 1 and a third into an improper fraction. So 3 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so 5/3. And then keep the division sign for now. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 5 is 23. So 23/6. Now we do KFC, so we'll keep 5/3. We'll flip 6/23, and we'll change the division into a multiplication. And we can do what we did earlier. In this case, this would turn into a 2, and this would turn into a 1. And so we'd have 5 times 2 is 10/23. And that is our final answer. Alright, I have one question for you to have a go at here. This is a pretty hard question. It combines a lot of what we did earlier in this video, other than maybe subtracting fractions, but just have a go at it, pause the video and resume it when you're ready. Alright, so because of BidMass, we're going to look at this part here first before dealing with the before dealing with the mixed number on the right. So taking a look at this part here, since it's a division, we can do keep, flip, change. So we'd have 4 times 25 times 2, keep that. 6 times 48, keep this fraction. 5 times 8 over 16 times 2 would be flipped, so you'd have 16 times 2 over 5 times 8, and then you change the sign into a multiplication, and that is added to 3 3/4. We don't really care about that at the moment. What we do care about is this bit in the beginning. So once we've reached this stage, we can start cancelling out some numbers. So the first thing we can cancel out is the 8, because there's 2 and 4, and 4 times 2 is 8. So the 8 gets cancelled out. The 5 also gets cancelled out because we've got 25. So 25 can be turned into a 5 itself. So at the bottom here, we'd actually just have 1. And then 6 times 48, we can cancel out the 16, because 16 goes into 48 to give us 3. We can also cancel out the 2, because that also goes into 6 to give us 3. So actually the fraction on the right just turns into 1/1 or just 1, so it counts for nothing. So what we're left with is 5/3 times 3 times by 1/1, which is 5/9 times 1, which is just 5/9. And then we can add that to 3 3/4. So now we can turn the mixed number into an improper fraction. So we have 5/9 plus 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15/4. We can then turn this denominator into 36 on both sides. So over 36 multiplied the denominator by 4 on the left fraction. So 4 times 5 is 20. And then on the right fraction, we have multiplied it by 9. So we'd have 9 times 15, which would give us 135. We can then add the 20 onto the 135 to give us 155/36. And then we can write that as an improper fraction. So what would that be? 36 times 5 is 180, so I'm guessing this is 4 times 36. So 4 times 30 plus 6 is 120 plus 24, which is 144. So we'd have 4, and 155 minus 144 would give us 11/36, and that is our final answer. Alright, that's the end of the video. If you found this video helpful, please do give it a like, please do subscribe to my channel for more videos on GCSE maths, and I'll see you in the next one.